Prime dropped their new bows, the Divide series, which I was a little worried about first, right? So we talk about the Prime. They had the Form last year, which in my opinion was honestly, it was a flop. They didn't do well. We had no demand for them whatsoever. And then they introduced the Divide this year. And I was like, oh, same bow, different story, right? Same story, essentially. Yeah. It wasn't, though. So, like, the Divides, Prime's taking a different approach. They give you a lot of options. So you've got a Divide 31, a 33, a 35, and a 37. And you have the option to go with a 6-inch brace height or 7-inch brace height, which, right, as a shop, it's a lot of different things. I honestly think that we're going to be focused on the 31 and 33 with a 6-inch brace height. Yeah. Those are ones we've got in so far. And dude, the Divide 31 is a banger of a bow.
So I like the 31, but I like the 33 better.
But it's great, right? Yeah. Dude, the core cam's still in the lineup. You've got your standard mods and your performance mods. I'll take standard mods all day over performance. The performance to me is just god awful as far as like the draw cycle. It rolls over and it dumps into the back wall, and it's a massive dump in that bow, just like.
Yeah. So when they brought that out, especially on the Form 30, that was honestly the worst draw cycle. I felt like it was awful. I didn't like it at all. On the performance mods, even the standard mods, it kind of dumped a little too much for my liking, and it was too short for me anyway with the draw cycle or the draw length. It was too short. Yeah. I just didn't like it at all either.
Yeah, but now with the core cam with a standard mod, it's honestly really, really good, man. The draw cycle is fantastic on there. The bows are they're slower than the other bows, right? They're a little bit slower. Whatever though, like you can manipulate that with arrow weight and your arrow build and whatnot. But that bow shoots and feels so good. The 31, I think, is going to be a really I'm hopeful that it gets the traction that it deserves, because I feel like that bow, like Prime has been pretty slept on as far as like they had the RVX Plus series, which did pretty well.
Yeah, they did good.
Yeah, and now that they've got the Divide series and all the options, if you haven't shot the Prime Divide 31 and 33, you need to, because that bow feels fantastic. It's got a great grip. Yep. It just feels really good. They are behind, in my opinion, on the tuning side of things.
Yeah, so I do have to retract my statement, because Prime you have to press as well, and you got to pop those shims out with their tool. And I remember when we were testing on that, I found it was actually easier just to take the axles out instead of trying to get those shims, because those shims are really narrow.
Yeah.
So that I do remember that now. So
yeah, I think that is one of the drawbacks. And again, it takes a little bit more time, so they are a little bit outdated with that. But as far as like once you get it set up and shooting the bow just feels really good. The post shot feel is fantastic on it. Dude, what was the bow that has, it was a mid-price point bow. It was the Enduro that had that tuning fork feel.
Yes. Yeah, it was.
It was none of the flagships.
No, yeah. Everything I've shot so far this year has been awesome. But yeah, going with the Divide, I love the 33, and it was faster than the 31, which typically that's kind of normal for Prime, is their middle axle length has been the fastest bow out of all their lineups. Like it was the same with the Nexus. I think the inline was the same. So those 31s, 33s, 35s, all those, the 33s were the fastest.
The biggest issue, though, with the Primes is their draw lengths.
Right.
Especially like a 31, it only goes to 29.5 inches with a 6-inch brace height. You can go to the 7-inch brace height and get a little bit more draw length. So that's something you would have to do, but you sacrifice a little bit of speed. Because, like, let's take a look at the Divide series.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want a good performing bow that's going to be very forgiving, I mean, you could definitely go with that 7-inch brace height, and that way you're going to get that extra draw length that you need if you need it.
Yeah, because if you go to the 7-inch brace height, you go...
It goes to 30.5, I want to say.
Hold on, am I looking at this right? 31, 7-inch brace height, draw length to 32, 27...
That's got to be in the 35 or the 37.
Hold on, what's their 33 7-inch? Yeah, it's got to be...
Because that one, I think, goes to 31 on the 33. If you go to the 7-inch brace height.
Yeah, I don't think this is showing up correctly. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you are right, man. Yeah. So that's one of the bigger issues with the shorter brace height that they got. And a 6-inch brace height is a perfect brace height, I think. I mean, it's not too long. You get good speeds typically with that brace height. It's fairly forgiving for what it is, especially for a hunting bow. You start getting that 7-inch brace height, man, that's a long brace height.
That'd be a great hybrid bow, though.
It would be.
If you go to 33, 35 and that 7-inch brace height, that would be a very forgiving platform, like I said. And if you want to have one bow for everything, you could do that with that. You could do it as a 3D setup out west, tree stand, it'd be a great option for just about anybody. But I definitely feel like a lot of guys are going to gravitate towards that 6-inch brace height as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it just makes sense for most people. I did have somebody that hit me up that was interested in the 7-inch brace height, especially for hunting like extreme cold for like when they have layers on.
Yeah.
So really wanted that longer brace height to minimize any contact with their layers. So that might be an issue with the Sicario.
It could.
Maybe, guys hitting their form with not so much like warmer climates, but you're talking about extreme cold weather when they're bundled up and layered.
Yeah.
Maybe a potential concern. So if you're somebody, I'm not sure that that's going to be a factor, but I mean, depending on how you grip the bow, it very well could be.
Yeah.